Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. As we're trying to make this technology work, I do want to set the stage for today's symposium event. I decided to share some thoughts about game changers and brain changers. As many of you are well aware, there have been many technological innovations or applications in recent years that have, for some reason or another, in some context or another, been called game changers for education across the globe. The increasing affordability of mobile devices, including devices powerful enough to run sophisticated educational games like the ones we're seeing throughout this symposium, and 3G are only some, yet particularly relevant innovations for many of the countries we work in. Adaptive learning systems, artificial intelligence, and machine learning applications, or the range of virtual or mixed reality technologies are more and more proliferating education markets with new applications to promote diverse learning experiences. At RTI, for example, we're doing research on wearable technology and smart sensors. Our work and research on sensors is driven by questions such as how can educational assessments be improved to become better approximations of student learning than current approaches? Our premise for this research is that physiological data such as heart rate or skin conductivity can provide objective measures on assessment relevant indicators of learners' anxiety, their engagement, or fatigue. In the future, such research may inform a degree of personalization of remote learning that goes well beyond content-level adaptation and might allow us to adjust learning experience also to the cognitive and emotional state of the student, recommending breaks, physical activity, or different engagement strategies. As we see these technological game changers become more and more part of our education systems, accelerated especially in recent months in an effort to provide education continuity even during COVID-19, there are other areas of research that inform our collective work. I call these brain changers. Our increasing understanding of the role of neuroplasticity, that is our brain's ability to adapt and change, is finding its way in the design of all types of instructional programs, including digital games. Similarly, research increasingly documents a relationship between emotions and affect for learning and highlights the critical role that motivation and engagements play to create lasting changes in our brain structure and function. Studies to date suggest that games can make a particular contribution in this space. For a discussion on some of this research on neuroscience and playful learning, you may want to consult the 2017 white paper by the LEGO Foundation, this year's symposium co-sponsor, which summarizes many of these brain changers in the context of learning and play. On a more somber note, we see research also pointing in other directions, and that is the effect of trauma and adverse experiences, possibly those from protracted conflict and crisis, not only affecting learners' physical well-being, but measurably also brain structure and function. How significantly games can change the human brain, depending on design and dosage, amongst other variables, is illustrated by the fact that in June this year, the United States FDA approved the first video game as a medical intervention to improve attention function in children with ADHD. So what does that mean for us as a community? First of all, we need to recognize that in spite of all this research to date, we actually know very little about the human brain, the neurobiological foundations of learning, and the contributions of education technology and games to learning. But given the incredible adaptability of our brains to our environment and our sensory experiences, to the degree where isolated experiences or periodic play can have lasting effects, we actually carry great responsibility for the well-being of the students and learners we aim to support. We also must not forget that our teachers are also learners. The human brain develops from back to front. The executive functions of self-regulation, organization, planning, and higher-order thinking mature well past adolescence. In fact, studies suggest that our frontal lobes, which host most of our brain's executive functions, do not mature until past 30 years of age. Similarly, the evidence based on neuroplasticity, also in healthy older adults, is growing. Particularly in recent months, the expectation on teachers' role has greatly increased, and educators had to rapidly shift to entire new ways of engaging and communicating with their students. This placed a tremendous cognitive load and demand on these teachers and asked for a degree of cognitive flexibility and change that would be hard for anybody to adopt. I hope that through the remainder of the symposium, we can see or plan for more education technologies and games that bring the joyful experience of learning and play also to teachers and other adult learners. With that, I wish you a fantastic reminder of the symposium, and I hope some of you will join me in the Escape the Symposium activity, which sure sounds like a lot of fun. Back to you, Scott.
Carmen, thank you so much, and thank you for plugging Escape the Symposium. You actually stole one of my lines. I really do hope everyone checks it out. We have got a lot of interest so far, so please do check out the Escape the Symposium activity.